Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Testimony Time with Devan. I will just wait for those who would like to join to come into the room. And so I'm just going to be quiet and silent for now. I hope everyone is having an amazing week. As some of us, tomorrow is the end of a new work week. So if that's you, you've made it thus far. So let's finish strong for this week. And so for while we wait, I just want to say welcome. Again, this is Testimony Time with Devan. We meet live here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. And so, hey, Michelle, I'm going to invite you on in a minute. I just wanted to, Instagram takes a few minutes before it'll let everyone know that I'm live. I'm excited to hear your testimony. I was about to say that as I was waiting for the time to wind down to go live, I was in my living room watching TV, and I just started thanking God, and I said, this is the last testimony time with Devan in my space now. And I was like, I heard the Holy Spirit like, this is your last time in the apartment. I'm like, wow, because next week we will be leaving this apartment after being here for almost a year and a half. And so this is where the Lord brought the vision for me to do this platform. So it's kind of, it's not sad. It's just like, Lord, thank you that I have the obedience to obey what you are asking of me. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the future is going to hold as we prepare this time next week to be moving to Florida. As I gave the testimony last week, my husband received a promotion. He's an operations manager for DHL, and so he got an opportunity. And so we are moving to Lakeland, Florida next Friday morning. So after 21 years of being in Georgia, my run has come to an end. My husband is from here. He's never lived anywhere, so this will be different for him. But I think it'll be good. I love the new space that we're going to. The area kind of reminds me of Cape May County and Douglasville mixed together. Douglasville is building up out here. So it's like, it's kind of laid back. It's not rowdy. You got a mixture of elders, but some young people, but not a lot. Oh, and I'm going to say this too. If anyone has ever been to Marietta Square, there's a section of Lakeland that reminds you of Marietta Square. So I'm excited. I don't live near ponds, and I don't think I'm going to experience alligators, but that's okay too. There's a park that I'm itching to go see, but yeah, they have live alligators. They have a whole alligator trail that does not have any fencing, anything to protect you. So we're going to have to figure out something else to do. But I just wanted to share that, before I bring Michelle on, like, God has been amazing. He's always amazing anyway. But in this space, I feel like he has been amazing. We have been going live. I think keep saying August, but I think it's more, yeah, the end of August. I gave my testimony first. My pastor has come. There's been people every week since then that has been coming and sharing their testimonies. And people have really shown what God has done through trauma, through medical miracles, through miscarriages, through divorces, um, just, loss of business partners, friendships, so many different things, addiction. We had someone that came on that talked about being a sex traffic survivor. Like, it's been so much. And so I feel like each week, Michelle, I have my notepad. So I always try to grab wisdom and knowledge from everyone's testimony, because you just don't know. You just don't know who you're going to reach. And if it's not for you, let it be for someone else. I always say that. Your testimony can truly save someone's life. And that is the mission statement of this ministry, as how important your testimony is. And so, Michelle, I'm about to call you. So on your end, it's going to ring. And like I say, you're going to accept. Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
I'm good. No complaints.
Beautiful as ever.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you. Thank
never
you.
changed. You have not changed at
I've
all.
heard that my entire life, that I look exactly the same. Now I
You
got some
do.
grays, but other
It,
than
but
that, yeah.
listen, I'm waiting for the day that I get them. My husband be laughing because I always told him, I said, I have Della Reese dreams. I want to touch by an angel, salt and pepper when I get older. That is the goal. So I'm looking forward to it. But thank you so much for, deciding to share your testimony. Like I was telling you earlier, it's not easy, coming before the world, like giving the things that God has brought you through, is
hmm
doing in your life currently. And so, but yeah, this is just a conversation. We are here to listen to what you have to say, because like I just said, your testimony can truly save someone's life.
Okay. Well, first,
Yep.
let me say congratulations to you on the move.
Thank
That's great
you.
news. Lakeland is nice. That is the headquarters, if I'm not mistaken, of Publix. So you're right there.
It is. So when we went to visit the end of last month, we were staying at a Staybridge Suites right next to Lakeland International Airport,
Uh-huh.
and like 5 miles down the street was Publix,
Yes.
corporate, and
Yeah.
I was like,
Yep.
wow,
That's
yeah,
what
and it was
corporate is.
it was
Yeah.
huge. And if when we started going through the city, like you would see signs that says owned by Publix, parks, like all kind of different things. So they have their hands on a lot of things in
Yeah.
Lakeland, and we
Yeah.
heard nothing but you're gonna
You're
like it. It's
gonna love
nice.
it. You don't worry about
Yeah.
the alligators is the least of your worries. I won't worry. I wouldn't even worry about that. Girl. Enjoy.
Yeah.
It's
So
beautiful. It's Florida is a beautiful state. It really is. And you're by
yeah.
the beach. Oh,
So the Jersey girl part of me is like, well, some people are saying we're like 45 minutes from Tampa in one direction. My manager lives in Clearwater. She said she's about an hour and
yep.
10 minutes from Clearwater Beach.
Beautiful.
So I said an hour versus a 2 hour flight to Jersey. I don't know. Like, I can't wait. Like, my
You're
husband and I
gonna
said, oh, Lord.
I tell you, if you've never been down to Florida in the blue water, you'll never want to go to Jersey and get in our beach again ever. You
What?
can be waist deep and still see your feet. And Clearwater Beach is Clearwater is beautiful. Clearwater Beach is amazing.
I've never been there, so I'm
It's
excited
a
now.
you're in a sweet spot for a lot
Okay.
that's
Okay.
going on. It's really nice. I go down there at least twice a year. I have family there, so I try
Okay. Okay.
to make it down there at least twice a year.
So what sold me, because I was not really with when he told me he was going to interview, and I was like, I don't want to leave my kids, like I don't want to do this and that, and I kind of kicked and screamed for the first couple of weeks. But
hmm
then he said, so his manager was like, you guys need to come down, come tour the facility. We did that. We came down on Friday, got up early, drove down, went straight to his job, did a tour. We went to the hotel, went to sleep. The next morning, I said, "What is around here?" Ding, ding, ding.
Everything.
Wawa. I said,
Everything. Yep.
so. I said,
Everything.
so, and I was like so shocked. It's like, so where we're going to live in our apartment, I'm 2 miles from Wawa, but it's like a strip
Yeah.
of stores,
Yep.
banks,
Yeah.
restaurants, everything. And so I told Artis, I said, this feels like Douglasville with a little bit of Cape May County. And
Mm-hmm.
I say Cape May County because you see all the, the older people
Yeah.
and everybody's just like, you know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
just gave the best of both worlds with a little bit extra. So yeah, Wawa kind of
And you're
sold me.
two
My
hours
husband
from
said,
Orlando. You're 2 hours from Orlando.
mm-hmm.
Is your it's you're in a sweet spot. You really are. Cocoa Beach, all that is right there.
It's right there.
Everything.
Yeah. So my
Yeah.
daughter will definitely be flying into Tampa International because Lakeland just stopped doing flights to Atlanta in January.
Really.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Atlanta. It's two different cities that they said that is on pause. I guess it wasn't enough movement.
Traffic. Yeah.
And I was so shocked. I was like, please, I'm gonna have to go over there and like, please bring it back because the kids can just fly right there. I think the
Hmm.
airline is called Avello.
Yeah, that's a new airline. So
Okay.
they only go certain cities right now.
But it's weird, Michelle, because like for Lakeland, they go to Puerto Rico, Rochester, New York, Charlotte. It's like weird places.
Yeah.
And I'm
Because
just like,
even the flight from here to home, it doesn't go into Philadelphia. It goes it's in Wilmington, like near Delaware. Because I said, oh, let me check
see,
it out. And I was like, but
uh-huh,
it doesn't fly into Philly. It flies into somewhere that's really close to Delaware. Because
mm-hmm.
where we are, where we sit, you can go through Salem County and get to Delaware that way, you
Right.
know, driving. But yeah, so yeah, and I was like, wow, that's kind of odd. They don't go to Philadelphia, but they go over here. So,
Yeah, it's weird. So like when I go home for the past like 5 or 6 years, I've been just taking a flight from here to Philly, and
mm-hmm,
then my dad or my sister pick me
mm-hmm,
up, or there's times I've rented a car.
yeah,
But now that I'm going to Lakeland, I can take a flight from Tampa to Atlantic City, so that's
yeah,
even better for me.
yeah. Okay, that's
Mhm.
okay. Oh,
Yep.
that's the trick. Yeah.
Yep. So I can go. So my husband's like, "Oh God, you're never going to be home this summer," and I was like, "No." I was like, I just like to come home to spend time with my dad and my sister, and then I like to go to Max Pizza. I get it in for 3 days. I'm ready to come home. But
Yeah.
now that I'm closer to a beach, like
You
I'm gonna make sure I go home. But like you said, I can't wait
yeah,
to tell you, like you are so
it's
right.
you're coming into the I think May, like all summer. That's their rain. This is their perfect season. Is now
That's what I was
is
told. Yep, they said
between
enjoy it now.
November and March or April. Because
Hmm.
the entire summer you get those spotted rains all summer long. So the summers there are kind of but it's cool
Hmm.
because in the wintertime you still have summer weather
Right.
in the winter. That's what I
I know.
like
I was
about
I
it.
was packing up clothes today, and I was like,
You're
I'm
gonna
probably
need
not gonna
that.
need none of this.
Nope.
I was like, I don't think
Nope.
I'm gonna need none of this, but I was
Very
like,
rare.
for job interview purposes, I'll take it. But I
Yeah.
said, I don't think I'm gonna need this. And
Right.
when we went, it was about 55, 60 degrees. Well, it was like a little cooler.
Yeah.
They had a lot of rain when we went, but we really liked it. So I'm excited. I'm excited for something new. Like I said, my husband's never moved out of Georgia. He's born and raised here.
He's gonna
So
love it.
this is definitely, yeah.
Definitely
So I'm
lifestyle.
excited
It's
about it.
definitely gonna be a lifestyle change, and for the better. Because I've been wanting to go to Florida for years.
Now, where
Yeah.
you live at? Are
I'm
you
still
still in?
here. I'm still here in Georgia.
You're in Stone Mountain?
Yeah. I'm still out there.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yep. Yep.
Nice, nice. So,
All right.
like I told you earlier,
All right.
this
So
is
I
just,
guess
yeah, this is just a conversation, right? I just pray and then you will give your testimony because only you can give
that's
it, right?
right.
So I'm not going to be Oprah and asking 90 questions. Nope, nope, nope. I'm going to listen. I
Okay.
never ask. I never ask anybody prematurely what you're going to talk about because I want to be in the unknown like everybody else. I always have my legal pad because I might write notes, but like my mission statement for this ministry is your testimony could save someone's life. So if it's not
Okay.
for you, they can
It's
give
not
it to someone else.
for, okay. All right.
Yep. So I'll go ahead and pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you for this new day of mercy and grace, God. We thank you for this time of fellowship. God, we pray that you are in the midst of this conversation as Michelle comes and gives her testimony of your goodness. We thank you in advance for everyone that's going to watch tonight. I pray blessings over them, Michelle, and myself, Father God, in this season, Lord. We pray that you continue to open up doors for those who will be willing and available to come and share who you are. For Lord, you know what this world is dealing with, Father God, and we need those that don't know you to hear of who you are, all that you are, and that you are love, Father God. And Father, I just thank you right now in advance for all that you're going to do in this conversation. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
So the floor is
All
yours.
right. Here we go. So when I don't even know what made me want to agree to do this because I'm not one that broadcasts a lot of my personal life. It stays very close to home, very close to my very intimate circle of
Mm-hmm.
people. But something said, well, maybe you need to talk about it because you really don't talk about it or you really haven't talked about it. So I was like, okay. So then as the days kept creeping up, I'm like, oh, I don't think I want to do this, you know? Part of me was like, I don't think I want to do this. And the part was like, well, go ahead. You agreed to do it. Just go ahead and do it. And then when I saw that you had my name, I was like, okay, she didn't already broadcast it and I mean advertise. So I said,
Yeah.
okay, well, we here now. So I do hope that this does just bring awareness to health. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Um September 23, September 23, 2023. It's a Friday. And I work from home pretty much. I've pretty much been working from home ever since COVID.
Okay.
It's you can, go to the office whenever you feel like it. I prefer to work from home because I can get more work done without being interrupted.
Yep, I feel the same way.
Yeah. So Friday morning I woke up, everything was fine. I had a very early morning conference call. Some of our team, like we're a global team, and I was trying to acclimate some of our team in China to, some overview of how our team works, etc. And there might have been about 10 or 15 minutes left in that call, and all of a sudden it felt like, man, I need to stop talking. Like I've been talking so much because my mouth was tired. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, let me. So I quickly ended the call and I sat there and I started working, and a feeling had come over me, and it felt like indigestion. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have ate those collard greens last night before I went to bed because that's exactly what I did. I made a pot of greens and they were really good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got up and I went to the bathroom and came back and I sat down to work again. And then all of a sudden I started to feel, it wasn't a pain, it was just a feeling under my left breast. And I was like, oh, that's different, And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay. So I got up and I went back in the bathroom and I was standing in the doorway and I was like, okay, what do I need to do? I said, first thing I did was I looked at my bed and I said, well, maybe I need to lay down for a little while. That's the first thing that came to my mind. And I took one step out of the bathroom and something said, you need to go to the ER. So I turned around, got in the shower, I got dressed. I didn't call anybody. I didn't call my family. I did not call my job. Let me just get to where I need to be, and then I'll fill that in a little while. I just need to get there. So, so the entire time I'm driving, I went to Emory University campus on Clifton
Mm-hmm.
in Decatur, and I the feeling that what I was feeling was like someone was massaging me in the same spot to where it was becoming like a soreness or just an agitated feeling, and it was under my left breast. So I kept my hand up into my shirt.
Mhm.
Drove drove to the ER. I'm praying like, Lord, just get me there. Just get me there.
Mhm.
And and so I got there, and of course, when you go in, they, why are you here? X, Y, and Z. And I said, I'm not having chest pain. I'm uncomfortable as discomfort.
Mhm.
So they triage you, they take your blood work and all that stuff. Blood pressure was a little bit elevated, but not too much. So with Emory now, when anytime you do anything, you have a patient portal. So
Mhm.
everything that they were doing that I could see in the ER, I could see it on my phone. It would come across as a text message, and you would hit a link, and it would open it up.
Right.
So I noticed when they drew the blood, they drew two tests. One test was for troponin, and I never heard of that word before, never saw it before, so I looked it up. And it said troponin is a fluid that is found in the blood when the heart is being distressed. So I
Mm.
said, okay, I have chest pain. It's just normal blood work. Anyone that comes in with that with chest pain, that's what they do. So I was like, all right, cool, no problem. So the first test came back, everybody it came back normal. And the normal count for troponin is 13G. That's normal. Anything above that, when the heart seeps that fluid, that's why it's found in the bloodstream, and that's how they can detect.
Mhm.
So the doctor came out and she said, "Okay, you're good. We're going to figure out. We don't exactly know what's going on, but at least, and this is her exact words, at least we know you're not going to die today." I said, "Okay, well that's
Mm.
good. I'm
Right.
thinking.
Right.
So I think by this time, I think I may have called my nephew, and I think I called my manager, my director at work. This is what's going on. I will give you an update. This is where I'm at. I told him, don't, just keep it to yourself.
Mhm.
So the doctor said, well, we're going to go ahead and wait a couple hours, and we're going to run this blood work again. I said, all right, cool, no worry. By this time, it's like 3 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, I done been here all day now, because
Mhm.
I think I left home like a little after 10.
Oh wow.
So they come back. I wait. I do the blood work again. I'm like, all right, I'm getting ready to go home. It's Friday. All
Mhm.
is well. Nope. Get a call, and it was a different doctor, and he was calling my name, and I was like, yeah, I'm right here. And he said, well, I need you to come with me. I said, well, where are we going? He was like, well, we're gonna need to keep you for observation. I said, observation for what?
Right.
Something said, Michelle, look at your phone. So when I looked at my phone, that troponin number had jumped up to 500 and something.
Oh my
So I was
God.
like, okay, something is happening. Something is really happening. So they take me in the back. They put me in a room quickly. Before I could sit down, the room was full of people, and they were getting me IV'd and EKG and all these different things. I'm like, well, what is happening right now? You know. So I think by this time it's like 6 o'clock. They've run the blood work again. And this time the ER doctor comes in. He said, we think you've had a heart attack.
Oh
I
wow.
said, excuse me? And
Right.
he was like, yeah, we think you've had a heart attack. And that's how they could tell us by that troponin number. And so they asked me, they says, well, what happened? So I explained to them, what I told you about the morning of how I was feeling. And I said, yeah. Yeah, I took a shower and I got dressed and I drove here. He was like, you drove here? And I'm like, yeah, I drove. I said, my car is in valet. He was like, well, we think we're going to keep you over the weekend because they wanted to do some sort of, they wanted to do a decatheterization. They wanted to go in with using a scope to to see where the blockages were, to see
Mhm.
where the blockage was. And he said, if there's a blockage, we might put a stent in it. They was explaining all this to me. And I'm still sitting there like, well, wait a minute.
How
What
did we get
happened?
here? Right.
How
Right.
how did I end up here?
Mhm.
You know? So at this point now I gotta call home and be like, okay, this is what's going on and so on and so forth. So I get up, they get me they admit me in, they have me hooked up to everything, blood pressure cuff, IV, two IVs. Actually I had to, liquid IV and Helprin. Helprin
Mhm.
said if there was any blockages or blood clots, the helprin would break it down where it would pass through. So I was on
Mhm.
that. So they were so that you get there, all the doctors and the specialists are coming in all weekend long, and everybody's asking me. Everybody wants to hear the story, and I'm like, what is so fascinating about this story? That I drove myself to, not realizing. I'm still not realizing what happened. I'm trying to figure out what happened.
Mhm.
I don't know, how did I end up here? You know. So Monday comes, and I go down for the catheterization, and there were no blockages.
Thank God.
So I was like, oh, okay. Okay, so I didn't have a heart attack. Okay, so what happened?
Mhm.
So the doctor, his name was Dr. Sperling. I'll never forget. Dr. Sperling came in. He said, it's a SCAD. It's a spontaneous coronary artery dissection. I had a tear in the lower ventricle artery, which caused that troponin to seep out.
Mm.
So they call it a SCAD. That's the name. I mean, spontaneous, because they don't know why it happens.
Wow.
And it's more prevalent in women than men. That's why I didn't, because when we think about having a heart attack, we almost think you grab your arm and all that excruciating pain. That's not what women get. That is not
Okay.
what happens to women. Let me not say that. Maybe possibly some might have that, but
Some,
for
but
the
not
most
all.
part,
Mhm.
women have scads and they don't know why it happens. It can happen to any woman. And so I didn't find this out until after I they scanned me from head to toe, wanting to make sure that there were no other tears anywhere else. And I'm trying to figure out, well, how did it happen? And they were thinking with me, because my blood pressure medications were not correctly prescribed to
Mm.
keep the blood pressure at a reasonable level. My blood pressure always stays elevated,
Mhm.
and my prescriptions weren't right. So I had a lot of tweaking to do. Still, I'm thinking, how did this happen? Because I've changed my eating diets, I've lost weight, I'm trying to, do all these different things. And I'm thinking this happened right after I had traveled so much that year. I was in Europe that year twice.
Mhm.
I was on a cruise. I was all over the place that summer. And I said, this could have happened anywhere,
True. True.
anywhere. And
Mm.
I'm just thankful that it happened here at home. And when I say at home, here in the United States, I didn't want to be somewhere else.
Right.
And this happened.
Mm.
And this literally was a month after I come out. I was on a 9-day cruise in the Caribbean, and this happened like a month later. So this
Wow.
probably had been going on for a while, and you just don't know it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when I got discharged, they did all the scans. They didn't find anything. They didn't find anything else. I had a clean bill of health, other than the high blood pressure, and now this coronary issue.
Mm.
So when I got discharged, I wanted to keep Dr. Sperling as my doctor, outside of the hospital, but he didn't have the bandwidth to take on any new patients. So he referred me to one of his colleagues. And when I tell you, when I went to that first appointment, how they explained to me what happened, they was like, no, Miss Davilla, you did have a heart attack. And they
Mm.
explained to me what it was. They explained to me how it happens. And they told me, they said, because I told them I wanted to lay down and go to sleep.
Mhm.
They said, the doctor said, you did the right thing by coming here. He said, because you don't realize how many people do that. He said, you may have been okay this time because by 7 o'clock, that pain has subsided. Oh, by the way, that last blood work that they took, that troponin was over 19,000.
So from 500 to 19, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
And the normal range you said is 13.
13, where it's undetected in your blood. As the
Mm,
number rises, that's how they detect it in your blood. That's why when they pulled the blood work, they took blood for that specific test.
mm, mm.
19,000. So I said, well, how does it heal? And they said over time, the tear will repair itself. But they said that, yeah, I would have been okay this time, but me by me not coming by me coming in and they detected it, they were able to treat it. He said some people, he said you may not have been lucky the next time. It could have happened the next time and it would have killed you. He said so many people when they have chest pain, they go to bed. And when you know it's abnormal, they go to bed. And I said this was different. I knew that this was different. Because for number one, I knew something was going on because I couldn't talk. And it was
Wow.
so ironic. My cousin just the other day posted something on her page about a woman, and when I read it, it was like I was reading what I had went through. Hers was a little
Mm,
bit more extreme than mine,
mm,
but the jaw being tight and not trying to talk, the pain under the breast, under the breastplate, and it was something else that she had mentioned. And I said, wow, that sounds like what I had just went through. And like they say, they don't know why it happens. They don't know.
that is so
But they say
scary.
the worst thing, he said, just be thankful that you came in here today. He said, you are
Mm,
one of the few. I said, because I knew something wasn't right. What people don't understand when they go to the doctor is that you live in your body every single day. Doesn't no one knows your body better than you do.
mm-hmm,
So when something is off, why not go have it checked?
mm-hmm.
People are like, well, because I don't want to know. Well, you need to know because it'll
You
kill
need to
you.
know, right?
And
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
when this was happening, I remember, and it was so funny because I was in the hospital and I was, talking to people like I was at home. And when the nurse would come in, I'm like, okay, I got to go by. I'll call you right back. And I would just hang up because I didn't want anybody to know where I was at the time because I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
So let me figure out what's going on with me first. Let me figure out what's happening here with me before I, I never posted anything I never said anything to anybody but 5 people. 5. That was it. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, because I need to figure out, my thought process was I don't need everybody calling me.
Right.
You know, I need to be silent for a second and let me figure out what is going on with me,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And like I said, they just could not, they said that possibly for me, it was my blood pressure. So it was very important for me to keep trying to get the blood pressure down so that the artery would heal. They said within 6 to 9 months. So it's been over a year now.
Oh,
I've
wow.
been, follow ups with scans and things. I was a pincushion for like a year.
Mm.
I didn't mind it
Right.
because
To
while I
get
was
to
in
the
the
bottom of
hospital,
it, you ain't gonna mind
right?
it.
Because while I was in the hospital, I think, yep, while I was in the hospital, Angie Cooper passed away, and I think she had a heart attack.
Yeah, I had heard. Yeah.
So
Wow.
that gets me to wondering, well, Lord, why did you spare me?
Mm.
And it's not questioning as to say, oh no, no. I'm just saying, why, why was I spared?
Mm.
You know, and I think about that a lot now more so than before because there's so many people in our age range that are dying left and right, and we don't know why. So I always catch myself, well, Lord, really, thank you for today,
Mm-hmm.
you know, every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because there are people that should be here that are not here
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason. But I always tell people I have so many, this wasn't my first brush with death, quote unquote, medically.
Okay.
But each time I've paid attention to my body and went to the doctor to figure out what it was. And I tell people, you have to be your own advocate.
Mm-hmm.
If that one doctor doesn't listen, you find
Find
one that
another.
will.
Yep.
Find
Mm-hmm.
one that will, So it's it's been some time. It took me a while. Because literally, like, I even tried to go back to work. Like, when I got discharged on Tuesday, I was trying to work on Wednesday.
Right.
My manager was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I got to
Right.
work." He said, "This work is not going anywhere. We need you to get better. I'm going
Right.
to need you to log off now and don't log on until you've been cleared by your doctor."
Yeah.
Because I started worrying about other things,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
instead of just
And
taking the
not worried
time
about you
to
first.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like every time you go through something, it should give you a different perspective and outlook on life and how you look at life and how you deal with life. I can only deal with what I can control, and that's it.
Right.
I can't worry about anything that's out of my control. If I can control it, then we're gonna fix it. If you can't, you got to let it go.
Yeah.
As long as it's not detrimental to you or your family, man,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we can let that ride.
That's
Because
true.
I've lost too many good people for many different reasons. And then I always say, "Oh, thank God I'm still here."
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not ready.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm still trying to find my purpose.
Right. And he's gonna give it,
You
and
know?
he, and those, and that's something that I questioned last year. I was like, what is my purpose? Like, what do you have here for me to do for you? What is it, you know? And I was just sharing with a coworker today. I said, he was like, I need to log on Thursday nights and kind of see what you guys talk about, because he's kind of on the fence with his belief. And I was explaining to him, I said, when this vision was given to me by the Lord last year, I was running from it, and then I did it. And I said the first thing he wanted me to talk about was a suicide attempt I had in 2003.
Wow.
I was like, we're going to,
We're gonna go
but
there, huh? We're just
we're
gonna
going to
jump
go
right
there.
in.
Right. And I said, so I was telling him today, I said, I remember back then I didn't know him. And now I look back and I'll be like, yeah, you knew 20 some years later, here I am, believing in
Hmm.
you, love you, serve you, and to be obedient to whatever it is you have. I don't know where this is going to go. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But I think that when you get into a place and you ask these things, because this was a conversation we had on here like 2 weeks ago about how some of us were raised on question God. It's not true. You want to question him. You want to ask those questions,
Hmm.
because there's going to be questions that only he can answer.
Right.
So when you don't know your purpose, that is something that you pray about. I mean, I'm still trying, like I'm like you, I'm still trying to find it, and I don't know if this is the beginning of
Hmm.
something, but I'm just being obedient in the space.
Yeah, that
And you
makes
have always been a
sense.
nurturer. I remember
I know.
that
I
about you.
know. I
So
know.
you have a beautiful daughter. Like you have, like you said, your most immediate
Hmm.
family that depend on you. And I haven't seen you. This is my first time seeing you in years. You know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
still know that is your nature.
Hmm.
So when you question it, it's like, yeah, he needs you to be that example for your daughter. He needs you to continue to pour into her, because I think she's like what,
She'll be
27.
she's 28.
See, because my daughter just turned 28 last week.
Hmm.
And I know we were close
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that
they were
space with
close in
having
age.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, like now that I have lived past that. I was telling my friend today at work, I said, I was like, I cried at my daughter's wedding in December because I could have missed all of that
Hmm.
if I let the enemy had talked me into what he wanted me to do.
Right.
And I said, so it's like, I'm grateful. Like you say, you're just grateful. You're learning different lessons. You're changing your mindset, but there's definitely something grand I feel like that God has for you.
Well, I wish you could
I
come
know it.
on.
Right. Right. You like, for me, I was like, are you hearing what I'm asking? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not being disrespectful, but like, I'm not hearing it. But the patience, teaching patience.
Oh,
Oh
I
my
have a
God.
lot of that now.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I
I'm
do.
still
I very
learning.
much do. I do. I don't
Yep.
let, I don't, you know what, um, Devin, I don't let too much bother me.
Okay.
Not now. Mm-mm. If it doesn't affect my kids and my job, y'all can have it.
Right.
Y'all can have all of it. I can't. I
Yeah.
can't. There's so much life that I want to live that I can't. I can't give away anything else to anybody.
I understand
And
that.
it took me a long time to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Different things that have happened along this journey of my life that has given me different perspectives on how to look at things, how, choose your battles is what they say.
Mm-hmm.
You choose your battles. And I'll walk away quick from a lot of it. Like, y'all can have that. I don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm
that goes for,
learning that.
and that's
Mm-hmm.
just, and that's, I mean, that's for everything and everybody. You know, I've learned that I'm not for everybody. I completely,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Those that are still with me and we still have a great relationship, okay, that's great. But then there's some, okay, for a time in a season, for a time in
Mm-hmm.
a season. And I'm not even upset. I used to be upset about it and wonder why? I don't even care. It doesn't
Mm.
phase me anymore. Life is too
I just,
short.
yeah, I just talked to my aunt about that today. She was asking me about someone, and she's like, "Did you tell them you were moving?" And I was like, "No, I didn't."
Why? I don't have to.
And I
I don't have to tell
said,
anybody.
she didn't understand, but she didn't know. I was
Hmm.
like, we are just not there anymore, and it's okay. And like you said, it bothers you at first because if
Yep.
you're a person that just love people and then it don't work, it's kind of hurtful. And I said, but you know what? I said, I'm not going to take away the part that they had played in my life at the time.
Right.
But we just that season, I was like,
It's a
everyone is
season.
not going
Yep.
to have. It's two things. And I told my aunt, and she was like, come on, wisdom. And I started laughing, and I said, there's two things. I said, everyone is not going to deserve a seat at your table, and
Hmm.
everyone's not going to laugh at your table
That's right.
forever. And I said, so now I'm in that space, like, people have asked, like, it's just going to be you and your husband. It's just going to be me and my husband until the kids come visit.
And that's fine.
And that's fine. We're in an empty nesting season, right?
Yep.
So I'm like, it's okay. And I said, you don't always need 5,000 friends. Like you said, you got five,
Five.
right? I think I might got seven, and you know what I'm saying? Because I
Yep.
know that everybody is just not going to be your lifers. They're not,
Nope.
and
They're not. And
that is
like you say,
okay.
it's okay. A lot of people don't understand that. Um, yeah, I experienced all of that, and I'm like, yeah, what am I? Why? And I think back on it now, I'm like, girl, what was you thinking? What was you thinking?
Yeah, you're going to have
You
those
know?
moments for sure. You're going
But
to
yeah,
have
so
those moments.
that is mine, and I wholeheartedly hope that this takeaway is that you live with you every day. No one knows you better than you. When you know that there's something wrong, just go check it out.
hmm
Because like they told me, they say you made it this time. He said you may not have been lucky the next time if you did not come in here today. Because I would have never known. I would have never
Are you
known.
The only question I guess I want to ask in that space of you having, you have gone through that, how have you been dealing with things mentally? Has there ever been a season since then and everything happened that you had dealt with like fear?
In the beginning, like
Okay.
right when I first got discharged, I was very much shaken up because how do you avoid it from not happening again? Or could it happen again?
Right.
Could it happen again next week? Could it happen again 2 months down the line? When can this happen again? And they, I don't want to say they told me that it would never happen again, but we've done the preventative to avoid it from happening again. So I think the first week I was afraid to eat anything because I just
Oh
didn't
wow.
understand what triggered it. Like what triggered that to happen. And that's why they call it spontaneous, because they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But they kept telling me, but we really think yours happened because your blood pressure constantly stayed elevated, which was making my heart work a little bit harder to pump the blood because the veins were restricted.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for maybe the first, I think, oh, so this happened in September. I had a trip planned for my birthday in October. Like 18 days later, I was supposed to be going to Minneapolis. And I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to make that trip. So
Mm-hmm.
luckily, I was able to rebook it. I think by 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 December, I felt good enough because I rebooked it and I went in December. And that
Okay.
was the first trip that I had taken since I had gotten home from that cruise, because that all that happened in that small amount of time.
Right.
So I would think maybe the first month or two, I was kind of in my head about it. Um, so I stayed at the doctor. I stay at the doctor. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going. If I'm sneezing too much, I might go.
Right.
I stay
Right.
at the
Yeah.
doctor. I
I can
do.
understand that though.
And we were doing really good. They got the blood pressure down. It was right where they wanted it. It seems like the blood pressure was always better at the doctor's office than it was at home. And I was nervous about that because they had me checking my blood pressure 3 times a day. So I'm constantly looking at these numbers, constantly, what are you eating, or what can you eat? What can't you eat?
Mm-hmm.
Those type of things. But I think after the first couple months, after I kind of got settled in, it started to even out. You know, I stayed going to the doctor, I think every 90 days. I think this last visit I just had, um just a couple weeks ago, she was like, "Okay, I think we can you only need to come see me twice a year, and then we're going to go once a year." Because I went through it after the first year. I had to go through all that testing again, the scanning, of the brain, the neck, the chest, and the abdomen. That's where the main arteries are. They check their So they figure after all of that, then they gave me a all clear.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's just a matter of me, making sure I take my medications like I'm supposed to. Still trying to lose weight. That's like a never ending battle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just it. And I'm just gonna live. I really am. Just, I know what it was. I know what to do. I know what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. It's not going to have space in my mind, in the back of my mind,
Right.
you know?
Right. And that's why I just wanted to know because I know that, some people they'll go down a slippery slope and it's consistently giving them something different. Now you're thinking about that and it's anxiety and it's like you don't want
Yeah.
to attach all these different things. And I know that for some, they're gonna go before God and be like, help my mind to be clear
Hmm.
so I'm not going down
Hmm.
that rabbit hole. But I love your approach where you said like your mindset had to change And it's like, no, I'm not gonna let this overtake me. I'm
Right.
going to live.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
learned to live with it. I mean, you know, hypertension runs in my family, especially in the women more than
Mhm.
the men.
Mhm.
It's a genetic thing. You know, I could lose 100 pounds and still be on blood pressure medication. It doesn't.
Mhm.
It's just a genetic thing. Um, but the key point of it is the key point to that is you have to understand it, and you have to follow what the doctor says. Now,
Mhm.
do I follow what the doctor says a whole 100%? No, I'm
Right. Right.
human.
Yeah,
Okay,
we all
I'm
know.
human.
Mhm.
You know, they don't want me to drink. Okay, well, I won't drink as much. You know, we're gonna
Mhm.
find a happy medium here. So I'm happy and you're happy, type of
Right.
deal. Because
Mhm.
I want to live. You know, and thankfully, like this past year, you know, I did a little bit of travel, and here I am again. This year, I'm getting ready to hit the road running again. Because there's so much that I still want to do. You know, and I'm just thankful. I really am.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that that day I listened to that little voice that said, we're not going to
Yeah, that was
lay
the Holy
down.
Spirit telling you,
We are
don't you
not
lay down.
going to lay down." Because I'm
Right.
telling you, I
Right.
pivoted and turned right back around and took myself to the ER. I didn't think twice at that
Mhm.
moment. I did not think twice about it. I didn't second guess it. I did it, and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, God definitely had his hands on you that day to get you where you
Hmm.
needed to go. Emory is amazing. I had my weight loss surgery there
Hmm.
in Johns Creek, and that is amazing
Yeah.
hospital. And so I'm glad that, like I said, you listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit to say
Yep.
go. And it's like I'm writing notes because I'm going to tell my husband that too. Because at one point of his life, he dealt with the blood pressure, and it would make him. He used
Hmm.
to say it would make him feel like his head's going to pop.
Hmm.
And I'd be like, "Come on!" And he would go, to get checked out. And every time, and then like the last time before he had surgery 3 years ago, um, he was in the hospital for 3 days.
Yeah.
Men, they try to like thug it out, and
I
I'm
ain't no
like, no, no,
thugging
no,
it
you
out.
cannot do that. I said, you
No.
can't do that. I said, you need to go. If
Yep.
it's if it ain't moved in a couple hours, or at least the first 24 hours, go to the hospital. Go call the
Hmm.
doctor. Tell him what's going on so you get seen. So he's gotten a lot better with
Yeah,
that. But
because you know how many people just drop dead because they don't want to go to the doctor. Like you better go to you. You would have. I. You know what? The funny part about it is I have a friend of mine, really good friend, and I hadn't talked to her in a while, and I was calling her the other day because I was up here by where she lives, and I said, well, let me call her and see what she's doing. Maybe we can get together and go get lunch or something. And here she was in the hospital because she had blood clots in her legs. And she
mm,
knew that there was something wrong because her legs swole up. She said from her thigh all the way down to her ankle of her, I think she said her right leg was completely swollen. And,
mm.
and she went to the ER and found out she had blood
Oh,
clots. Not
wow.
one, but I think she said three.
Oh my God.
And two of them had passed through her lungs. Yep.
Mm,
I said, and it was on a Friday. It seemed like everything happens on a Friday. On
right.
a Friday, she said she was in the hospital for 6 days. 6 days she was in the hospital.
Wow.
Yep. I said,
Wow.
girl, I was not expecting that conversation, but her and we ended up talking for like 2 or 3 hours on the phone because she was one of the people that I didn't tell right away about what had happened because I didn't like, tell. When I say 5 people, I mean 5 people. I told
Mm,
my boss, my director at work, I said, I don't care what you tell them, but don't tell them this.
right. Right.
Because I
Because
just
I can
don't. Because
imagine people
when I
getting
come
the
back to
frenzy.
work, I don't want everybody asking me a whole lot of questions. I just didn't want that. I was never. I'm not an attention seeker at all.
Right.
That's just
Mm-hmm.
never been me. I just didn't want it. I didn't want to be asking a whole lot of questions or how you doing, how you feeling. I just didn't. So
Mm-hmm.
5 people knew.
Wow.
Yep. So her
Wow.
and I talked about that, and I was like, "Girl, why you didn't call me?" I was like, "I already know why you didn't. I know, because I did the
Mm-hmm.
same thing.
Because you do the same
You
thing,
trying to
right?
figure out what's going on with you. You don't need all that extra noise I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to say it's unnecessary because people do worry about you, people do care about you, people do want to know what's going on with you. But there are times where you just need a minute to figure out yourself. I can't talk to you until I know what's wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's
That's
why I
so
say for this is the
true.
first time. This is the first time I've really whoever sees this will be like, oh shit. Oh, excuse me. She,
You fine.
she had a oh my God, she had a heart. Can't believe she, didn't tell nobody. Well, really, it's
Mm-hmm.
not something that you want to broadcast to everybody.
Yeah, because like I said,
You
it gets
know,
people in a frenzy, and then it's
right?
like now you got to keep explaining.
And I didn't want to do
So
all
I get
that.
it.
I'm like,
Yeah,
nah.
I
Let me
get it.
just let me figure out what's going on with me first, and if I feel like telling you, I'll tell you. And if I don't, and there's some people I probably will never tell.
Right.
If they don't see this video
Right.
or whoever's on live right now or whatever the case may be. But
Yeah. Well,
that's why
I
I just
thank
tell
you.
people it's definitely a learning lesson, but listen to your
Pay
body,
attention.
pay
Yeah.
attention to
Yeah.
your
Pay
body,
attention to your body. Listen to your body when
and be
you
an
just don't
advocate,
feel right.
and be an
Don't
advocate.
try to be the doctor. Like, don't
Right.
be trying to be the doctor and the nurse of your own life. Like, go
Go
see
see the
what's
doctor.
going on.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think
Well,
if few of my people had done that, they'd still be here today.
yeah. I believe that. I definitely believe that, and my mother included. She just was, oh, I'm all right, I'm all right, all
No.
right, until it wasn't, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
um, we used to call my grandfather Secret Squirrel because he wouldn't tell my grandmother a lot of things because he would worry. My mom ended
Mm-hmm.
up picking up that from him too, and then we're like looking at her like, when did this happen? When did
Mm-hmm.
that happen? Where were I know I was in Georgia. My sister's right there with
Right.
you, but like I have made it my business. Like I don't care what it is. I'm just gonna send this group text between my husband and my two children. Like, look, this is what's going on. Because when you're, they're they're not like panic kids. They're just like, okay, just let me know, right? What's going on? And I'm like, okay. But I definitely understand both sides of it. So I understand why you didn't tell nobody. That was a lot for me to process. Like paying
Mm-hmm.
attention to different signs. So I can imagine
Mm-hmm.
what you were dealing with, and you were dealing with it in the moment.
Yep.
And so I'm glad that you were able to come. You're the second person, you're actually the third person who has shared a medical miracle on this platform.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yep.
because I was either it's gonna be a toss up, either what happened in 2008 or what happened in 2023. I said, well, let me go here with the latter because 2008, maybe I'll share that one too because that one was definitely a life changer as well. Maybe I'll share that one another day because it's been some years since I've
Mhm.
talked about that situation. But again, I know that it was nothing but the grace of God that got me through that one. That was a big one. That was a
Yeah.
big one.
Well, like I tell everyone else, because I have one person who has already came back twice.
Okay.
So you let me know when you're ready, and we will
Okay.
coordinate that. And you come and share. And like I said, for me, I'm just like looking around this room, like, wow, this has been going on for quite some time, and this is my last live in this room. And so I thank God for you, and I thank God that you decided to still push forward because somebody needs to hear it. I'm telling you, I already got a little bit of notes. I'm just saying, like, I grabbed nuggets tonight from this. So, and then I feel like this is confirmation for me too, because right now my body is not absorbing iron, but I'm believing that God is going to heal me. If I, like you said, you do everything they tell you. I'm trying to learn obedience in that
Yeah.
because you know how you just want what you want, but we're
Yeah.
gonna figure it out. And I'm just praying, like as you were talking about like doctors, and I'm like, now I have to find a new physician in Lakeland. So
Mm-hmm.
probably when we get off live, I'm going to start researching like what my insurance, who's under my insurance, who in that
There.
space is the best
Yeah.
there, so we can go ahead and get started. Yep.
Most definitely. Well, let me tell you about that iron. Don't. Mm, that's
I
another
didn't know,
one.
so
That's
I
another.
didn't
That's
know,
that's
but
another testimony too. I have them.
you
I have
got
plenty.
them.
I got
Yeah,
them. Lord have
yeah.
mercy.
That iron, I just knew, but it's when your primary ain't paying attention.
Mm,
It's like, how can I say this? Like, thank God I still have my relationship with my weight loss surgeon. He is a part of Emory, Dr. Williams. I had regular blood work done because I was just like experiencing headaches. I don't even eat ice. Now I'm eating ice. it's just weird things were happening. They did blood work. And like you said, when you get these results, you're getting the ping to your email like
Mm-hmm.
they're doing this and here's the result. I get this result a week before I got somebody back on the phone because now I'm on Google, which they tell you not to do, but I couldn't wait. And I'm looking and I'm writing and I'm like, why is it keep, I was like, all of a sudden these last 2 times I did blood work, it's coming up my iron. And then this number was like showing low. So I already have to go see the weight loss surgeon once a year just to make sure, everything is good. And when I went out there, I said, Dr. Williams, did they send my blood work results? He was like, no. And I was embarrassed, not for me. I depended on my doctor's office to do it. So I went on to LabCorp on my phone
Mm-hmm.
and he looked and he was like, you tired? And I said, all the time. And he's writing down. And I'm like, well, what is it? He said, your iron absorption number is a 6. It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be 12 and over.
Yep.
He was like, that's why you probably feel like that. So now I have to have iron infusions. So even trying to get that set up in this last week and a half, and I say, you know what, Lord? As soon as I get to Florida next week, I'm on it. I don't have now I don't have time because it's like I have to wait for referrals and approvals and next Friday is gonna be here just like that. So I'm believing in that's the only thing I've had an issue, thank God, in 2 years post surgery is the iron. And I'm just like,
So I'll just say this to you only because I've been through something similar. It wasn't necessarily the iron, but it was the red blood cell count. They need to
yes.
look
Mm-hmm.
at that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just really quick, mine was attributed to my menstrual cycle,
Mm-hmm.
and it was out of control.
Okay. Okay.
So I want to say when they run your blood work, they need to look at your red blood cell count as well
Mm-hmm.
to see what that number is. And if that number is low, then you need to go find a gynecologist doctor as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you for letting me know
Hmm.
that. Because yeah, I was just really upset, and I just told my husband, and I said, I had this, like you said, knowing your body, but
Yeah.
I had this intuition to change my doctor a year ago,
Hmm.
and trying to, and now I'm like, well, Lord, now I'm forced to have to now find
A
new
new doc.
doctors.
Yeah. And it
So
might be for the better too, because you might find a doctor that's going to
really
hear
pay attention.
you.
I'm praying. I'm really praying that. I really,
Yeah.
really am.
But you want
Because
to
I'm
make sure
like,
you
I
keep
don't
an eye
like
on
feeling
that.
tired. Yeah, I'm like, I don't like feeling tired all the time. I'm taking the bariatric vitamins I'm supposed to take, and I'm like, now I know my body is just not naturally absorbing it on its own. So I'm gonna definitely get that looked at.
But that, because eventually you're going to have problems with your skin
Mm-hmm.
and your hair, all your nails, all of that is going
My,
to be affected.
my hair has been shedding since I had
Yep.
COVID in 2020.
And
I mean,
that's,
it's gotten thicker now. I think it's like turning around now, but it's
yeah.
like I was getting nervous. But yep.
Yeah, my hair shed. I was going to the dermatologist. Like I would take them bags, Ziploc bags full of hair. Like, look, this is from 3 days.
Right.
I could make a wig with the hair that I was shedding. And it
Mm.
was it was the red blood cell count. That's what it was. It was the iron, all of that. But
Okay.
there's an I say additional attributing factors that you need to look at that I just mentioned to you
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that because but one has to do with the other. Most
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. I already got this written down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. To have for the new doctor.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I thank you for coming
You're
on.
welcome.
And
It's been a pleasure.
yes. And when you're ready for the second one, you let me know.
All right, I will do.
All right,
All
everyone
right.
that's watching, thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all be blessed. Good night.
Good night.